as an organization, we want to just send our thoughts and prayers to the victims, their families, friends, people who were injured. And I don't know if it means a whole lot, but I should say I know it can't cure the pain, but we're thinking of you and the whole organization, the team, everybody here at Oracle tonight. When we have a moment of silence, we're all with you out there, and we're all devastated today. Stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Tonight, who are your inactives for the game?
McAdoo will be inactive. Anderson and Damian, but Anderson will be active.
Because the Warriors haven't lost consecutive regular season games for 105 games. So for you guys, how tough is doing that and maintaining such a record?
Well, it's an incredible mark of consistency, and I don't give it much thought. Like I didn't think of it in terms of, if we lose tonight, then that streak is over. That stuff doesn't matter to me, but I think we should take great pride in the fact that we've been so consistent, and we can count on bringing our best effort every time we need one. So let's bring it tonight. That's the plan, and we'll see what happens.
See, we have quite a bit of buzz. I'm wondering what the last 24 hours have been like for you, and have you had any contact with the league at all?
I was a little surprised about the fact that it became kind of a big deal. The conversation was really about pain relief in professional sports. The context of our conversation and my response to your question was about how professional sports should handle pain relief for players, and I thought it was it was interesting because the way the world works, and the way the media works now, what is a very serious conversation about pain relief turns into the headline, "Kerr smokes pot." So I guess that's the world we live in. That's fine, but I'm actually kind of glad that it became an issue, because I think it's a very important issue to talk about. Having gone through a tough spell over the last year with my own recovery from back surgery, a lot of pain, chronic pain, I had to do a lot of research, and you get handed prescriptions for Vicodin, Oxycontin, Percocet. NFL players, that's what they're given. This stuff is awful. This stuff is dangerous. The addiction possibility, what it can lead to, the long-term health risks, and so the issue that's really important is how do we do what's best for the players. But I understand that it's a perception issue around the country, and it's the NFL, NBA, it's a business, so you don't want your customers thinking, these guys are a bunch of potheads. That's what it is. But to me, it's only a matter of time before medicinal marijuana is allowed in sports leagues, because the education will overwhelm the perception. If you do any research at all, it's the stuff they're prescribing is really bad for you. The stuff that they're banning is fine. And again, it's perception, but I do think it's a matter of time. You can see it with our country. Our country is starting to wisen up on the medicinal marijuana side, but I hope we can wisen up on the prescription drug side. That's scary stuff, and it's really not talked about often.
Steve, along those lines, a few months ago you said that your team can be of matters, and a lot of people have kind of expressed their appreciation to you today for making it a topic, and even some of your players said, hey, if Steve Kerr speaks up, maybe this can make a change.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
I think it's important to talk about it, because again, it's all about perception. I'm disappointed it didn't work. I really wanted some relief and I didn't get it, but having done the research, it was well worth a try. But I think it's going to be very important going forward. I'm always struck, every time I'm home on the couch watching a sporting event, some drug commercial comes on. They show these happy people jumping in a lake, rowing a boat, and then you just wait for the qualifier. Side effects include suicidal thoughts and possible death, and you're like, this is insane, insane. It really is, and yet, the stigma is not on those drugs that are being prescribed day and night to anybody who wants it. The stigma is on something that's relatively harmless. So the conversation is important.
Go ahead. My judgment from looking social media, things of that nature, it seems like it's been overwhelmingly positive as far as you said just a few moments ago that you were shocked by some of the headlines and things. What was your overall take off of after you made those comments as far as how you felt the perception was?
Well, I didn't read a whole lot of stuff. I just saw various headlines. I mean, I get on websites to check out NBA news all the time, every day, and everyone had that headline, and that part kind of surprised me. But I haven't really talked to many people about it. Again, I don't think it's a big deal, but I do find it ironic that had I said, I've used Oxycontin for relief from my back pain, it would not have been a headline. And so that's all. I just urge people to do your research before you start taking the stuff that we're all encouraged to take, prescribed to take. And I always feel bad for the NFL guys, playing in the NBA, I had lots of injuries, I had plenty of pain. I never took anything like the opioids we're talking about, but I know that NFL guys, those guys are basically in a car wreck every week, sometimes twice in 5 days, which is another issue. But when they're prescribed that, it's really scary, especially prescribed by team doctors when you do the research on possible repercussions of these drugs. So that's the whole point. That was the point of the discussion with Monty. I wasn't trying to draw attention to myself. I didn't want to be a distraction to anybody, but it's an important, to answer your question, Jay, it's an important topic. So hopefully, people will think about it.
CBA coming up, do you think that the league should continue to test players for marijuana?
Well, I think the league should look into the use of medicinal marijuana for pain relief. As far as recreational, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pain relief. What's best for our players' health? That's what should be in the CBA, and that's what our owners and the league and our players' union should be most concerned with. And maybe part of that is educating the public about how bad some of the stuff that the players are being given for pain relief actually is. So the education is important, and I think as the public gets more educated, as people get more educated, I think there will ultimately be a policy that includes medicinal CBD oils, ingest, whatever's best suited for pain, and hopefully it's something that comes in the next CBA. But I have no idea. That's not my responsibility. Any basketball question?
Can't comment on the CBA anyways.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a fine.
That's right before you back me up.
Steve, do you think the team shot too many threes the other night, shooting 44 of them?
We shot, I don't care how many threes we shoot, I just want to get open shots. And I didn't think we had a ton of open rhythm shots, whether they're twos or threes. We just want good shots. And we didn't get enough good shots.
Is it rowing forever, it seems like. But when you see what happened to the Clippers over the past few days and the Cavs, where they both lost 3 in a row, does that in some way make it a little easier when you lose one game to see that you know, the so-called elite teams can lose 2 or 3 in a row?
Well, we know from the last 2 years, it's such a long haul. And, you know, last year we set a record, but, you know, went home angry 9 times. We're going to go home angrier, you know, angry many more times than that this year. That's my best guess. Losing stinks. It's no fun. I didn't sleep much the other night. Players showed up grumpy yesterday. So we always want to win, but big picture is in mind. And yeah, I mean, every team, even the best teams, go through some losing during the season. You got to deal with it and bounce back.
Steph called out yesterday, not just necessarily related to him, but in overtime, double overtime. Since you're playing more, could you support players getting an extra foul once you go into extra periods like that?
That's a good question. I really have never given it much thought. I would say no. My gut reaction is no. I think, you know, 6 fouls is already a lot, and I think a player should be penalized for fouling, and I have no problem with the current system.
This morning was saying a little bit how the way Harden brings the ball from low when he shoots a layup is so, well, not natural, was his wording, but he also was questioning the so-called experts on kinesiology is the way he said it.
This sounds exactly like Draymond.
Okay, but
Kinesiology.
with the way his leg tends to come up on occasion, how do you manage that?
Well, I don't know how we manage. I mean, I can tell you this, he's trying to draw a foul, right? He's not trying to hurt anybody. And this is what players do. Players try to fool the refs. That's part of the game. And some of them are really good at it. And, you know, I think I mentioned it the other night, you know, you got guys in this league who are literally grabbing the defender's arm on their way up for a shot. That's fooling the refs. That's an unnatural act. I think what the league is saying is that he's putting people in danger with a kick. I remember years ago, Kobe Bryant got, I think, suspended for a game for flailing his arms after a shot, and he hit Manu Ginobili in the face. The league suspended him. I think players' health and safety is foremost, so I understand exactly what Draymond is saying. He's right. There's all kinds of unnatural acts and traveling. We won't talk about that. But there's lots of ways that players try to fool refs. Draymond is trying to draw a foul, but because of what happened last year, and because there's potential for, you know, his opponent to get hurt, I think that's why the league is focused on it.
Is that it?